carriers certainly need to compete with the growing number of over-the-top competitors, basically, that are competing directly with the carrier's core business. And the carriers really want to offer a service that leverages the remaining assets that they have. And I would say, first and foremost, the phone number is a key asset they have, both from a consumer and also from a enterprise perspective. People have had these phone numbers for many, many years. It's still a primary means of identification, and people are not willing to give up those numbers, and many people are not willing to hand over those numbers to the over-the-top providers who've yet to prove their capabilities of maintaining privacy and so forth. What follows very closely to that is that the carriers still have a very strong trust relationship with the end user. End users trust the telcos. The telcos have proven for many decades that they can maintain private information. They maintain carrier class environments, of course, which is different from over the top. So this trust relationship is another asset that they can leverage. Thirdly, the carriers have a very capable billing infrastructure that's been built up over many years. It's very easy for them to leverage that billing infrastructure for small, micro payments. And this is something that's definitely an asset that they can leverage moving forward. And I think, last but not least, is that the carriers have the best relationships with the small, medium businesses. This is something that can certainly be leveraged with a unified communication solution, which can compete with over-the-top operators, and the carriers can leverage that relationship as a means of driving revenue.
So, Simon, what options do the carriers really have?
Well, I would say that they probably have 4 options. The first is of course to do nothing. And we certainly would not expect the carriers to just sit by and let over-the-top operators cannibalize and take away, all of their business. So I don't think that that's really a viable option, but it's an option nonetheless. I think the second option is to just wait and monitor, participate, and wait for the standards to catch up, to see when IR92, IR94 types of capabilities do get implemented, to wait for the infrastructure to support those standards, to wait for the standards indeed to be ratified, and of course waiting for the OEM, the handset manufacturers, the tablet manufacturers to incorporate clients in those devices that support the standards. So certainly this is an option, but I don't think a viable one either, because it's going to take I think many years for this to happen. And in that time, we know that the over-the-top crowd who are innovating so rapidly will continue to be innovating and developing even more competitive products. I guess the third option would be to partner with the over-the-top operators. This may be, I would think of this more as a Band-Aid than anything else. Of course, you're letting the fox in the hen house there when you start to support your customers accessing these over-the-top services. But it is an option. We've seen it work in certain cases. And I think the fourth option is for the carriers to implement a solution now, take advantage of those assets that I mentioned earlier. And this solution would be a combination of a client as well as an infrastructure-based solution that interoperates with their existing infrastructure, leverages those assets, and certainly gives them a path so that if indeed over the coming year, 18 months, maybe 2 years, as standards do solidify, that infrastructure and client solution can evolve to incorporate those standards. And so really give you the best of both worlds. The time to market and the innovation of the over-the-top operator, as well as a clear evolution path to standards, if indeed the carrier chooses to implement those standards. And that really is the key value and the benefit of our accession portfolio.